Okay, the second video. Somebody made a comment about Andrew Perez. I think I already mentioned him in another video. To be honest, I don't even remember where I met Andrew, probably at the club. And we just hit it off great. He's 4 years, excuse me, he's 4 days younger than me. We're the same age. I recall us being the same age. He's born February 7th and I'm on 11th. And his little sister is born February 11th. I was like, what? And his mom's name is Jackie. I was like, this is just weird. And his mom loved me. I didn't have a problem with his mom. She loved me. His sister was a little off, but I'm like, maybe that's how people see me because she's born on my birthday. And she was like 17 when I met her, I think. And she was just always she would look at you. And it was something about the eyes. She would look at you and you just didn't know what the hell was going through her mind. She was so stoic, so aloof. And I was like, oh my God, is that me? Like, is that how people perceive me? And God, I wish I could have spent more time with her because she was very fascinating because I could not read her. There's very few people I can't read, but I could not read her, but I didn't know her well enough. But there was somebody else in my life that I dated and I could not read him. I don't know who it was off the top of my head. Anyway, going back to Andrew Perez, he sold his soul to the devil. He was playing with a lot of those the Ouija, is it, oh my God, why do I feel stupid? The Ouija board. And he told me he actually talked to a devil or to a demon and he made a demonic contract. He never told me what the contract was. And I'm pretty sure I did mention that in another video where he was doing like petitioning, like signature petitions in Los Angeles. And I decided to go with him. And we ended up at a church. And I don't know why, but he just decided he wanted to pull on the window framework and everything. And one of the windows opened. And he was like, oh no, this is an unholy church. And I was like, well, of course you're pulling on a window. Like, of course, at some point, one of them is going to open and it's going to be asymmetrical, come on now. And he was like, no, 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 we got to get out of here. And I was like, okay, whatever. And while he said that, I looked into the church doors because you could see straight in. And I saw a figure come out of nowhere. And I was like, what? And then it was almost like it was on me, but it was on my back. And right before that happened, I pulled a pamphlet. I pulled one of the brochures. It had this interesting little, what do you call them? Not a pedestal, podium. It had a podium and it had little brochures of the bank, the church. They are a bank, right? Freudian slip. I'm getting a lot of those now, but yeah. So I took brochure, from the podium, but it was just like on me. It was on me so bad. I kept turning around. It really was like the devil on your shoulder. It felt like it was like right here, just staring, like it was just such an intensity from behind. And I told Andrew, I was like, Andrew, like I don't feel right. I was like, and he was like, what's wrong? I said, things don't feel right. And I started to cry. And he was like, okay, let's go get something to eat. So we went to this, I don't know, it was like a Subway. It wasn't Subway, but it was like a Jersey Mike's or something like that in Los Angeles. I don't even remember what street we were on. We were somewhere close to Sunset Boulevard. And we sat down. I put the brochures to my left side because I'm left-handed. And I was just sitting there and I still could feel it, but we were in like bright lights. So it kind of dimmed, but it was still intense. And I just was like rocking. I was just rocking just slightly. I didn't want to look too crazy to everybody else in the business, but we were the only ones. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And, he stayed with me. We talked a little bit about it. And then when it got too overwhelming, I was like, let's not talk about it. Let's find something else. So we would talk about comedy. I really loved our friendship. Andrew and I were great friends. We tried to get into something more, and that's when the problems happened because he was very controlling, to the point where like I was watching some. I wasn't even watching the guys playing pool. I was watching the pool table because I was fascinated about the geometry. Some of those guys were great. They were brilliant. Just, I can have appreciation for literally everything. Like, it was just so amazing to watch really good strategic players. It's a sport, I see why guys like to gamble on this crap. But to observe, they have just the right, these guys were good. They had just the right force on the ball at the right angle, and they would make their hits so clean, so precise. You know how some people like when they hit a ball and it goes in real quick? Nah, these guys, they were so smooth. Each one was like, it rolled enough. It never was like, oh, it's almost in. Perfect. It was, all right, I'm rolling in. Okay, this is where I go. With like this calm, fluid ease. These guys were freaking pros. So of course I'm gonna watch the pool table. And Andrew, I feel like Lord of the Rings right now, the book, how I just had sat there for freaking a good like 40 seconds explaining that. And I remember like trying to read Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Lord of the Rings and the book. And I could not get through the first 13 pages because it was just too much detail. I was like, oh my God, shut the hell up already. Let's get to the story. I feel like I just did that right now. Sorry, I digress. But yeah, so of course I was looking at the pool table. And then, Andrew's kind of like, oh, you're looking at those guys, huh? And I was like, are you serious? Well, yeah, you're looking at those guys. I'm like, no, I'm not looking at any guys. They just turned off the TV because they heard me. Yeah. They were watching TV. Now it's quiet. Anyway, so I was like, no. And I said, would you look and see what I'm looking at right now? And he wouldn't look. And I was like, if you're not gonna look, then don't you dare accuse me of doing something when you're not even looking at where I'm looking at. And that was, I mean, it literally, we didn't even last a week. I don't think so. Maybe it was up to 3 weeks, but we did not last at all because Andrew Perez, he was a control freak. He was so insecure. I mean, wow. It was great. He was great as a friend. Like, we had so much fun, and then he moved to Vegas or something and met some girl, and she like, I remember he said he saved up like $10,000 and she ate right through it. So she was his karma, after I left, I guess. I don't know. And then he was miserable and he's like, I should come back, huh? And I said, yeah, I think you should. Your mom's here. She's worried about you. Your sister's here. I'm here. We all care about you. We're all Aquariuses. Let's just all, well, I don't remember what his mom was, but I was like, we're all Aquariuses. Let's take care of each other kind of thing. And he was like, I don't know. And I said, look, I'll support whatever you decide. And she convinced him to stop talking to me. And I was like, well, because she was like cussing me out on social media. So I was like, well, whatever. And then I left it at that. I never heard from him again. But yeah, he was in Las Vegas. Julie was in Las Vegas. I don't know. Since everybody played a role, I really don't know anymore. Anyway, that's really all I want to say. There wasn't too much with Andrew. We just had such great fun. And I was keeping him sober. And then I remember when I moved into this place in Diamond Bar with that crazy old man. I only lived there a month before he got off his meds and got real buck wild crazy and had a lot of females coming in and out of the room, of his room. Now he probably did do something to me. That's where I found my cats, at his place. But, and then yeah, Andrew found the room for me, actually. That was sweet of him. Because I had just gotten kicked out of another place in Diamond Bar with the Asian white boy and his Japanese Korean biznatch. But yeah, I got in there in that new place, and the guy, he just wanted to like hang out with us, and I was like, I gotta go to school, I gotta look for work. I think I was looking for work, and I got 2 part-time jobs, so I was like, cool, I can pay him. It just might take a minute. And then he just started acting crazy, and but he wanted to smoke weed and stuff with Andrew, and I was like, no, you're not going to become his friend like this. Like, people were really putting him in negative spots, and he had already been in jail once before. So I was like, no, you're not going back. But yeah, he's he was just hyper insecure. He didn't believe you. No matter how much you would prove him wrong, he still wouldn't believe you. He was focused on his insecurities. I wouldn't say he's a bad person, but I don't know the depth of how much he destroyed me as well. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Now, I bid you adieu, and I hope you have a good night. And I think there's a monitoring spirit in the bathroom because I heard stuff moving. And I'm going to, at some point, go to sleep because I just got home a little bit ago. It's been a long day, and I really didn't sleep last night. So good night, Facebook.